Hi, I'm Krista Campbell. Welcome to the first webinar of our Field Operations webinar series. Esri's electric, gas, water, and telecom teams are hosting 3 webinars to share resources and solutions that support field operations. Today's webinar, Improving Inspections and Maintenance, will highlight how work in the field can be optimized by using applications that allow you to collect and share information. We will discuss and demonstrate how this information supports daily work goals as well as long-term planning. This webinar is being recorded and will be available to watch again or to share with your colleagues. Please enter your questions in the questions dialog box. You can enter questions anytime during the webinar. We will answer questions at the end as time permits. Questions we do not get to will be answered in a Q&A document that we will share on GeoNet. We have a great team presenting today. My friends and colleagues, Pat Hole, Industry Director for Esri's electric team, Mike Hersheimer, Solution Engineer supporting the utilities and telecom teams, and Eric Wagner, Solution Engineer on my team, the Esri Water team. Today's agenda. Pat is going to start with a discussion about the importance of field operations at utilities and how COVID-19 pandemic is pushing utilities to quickly transform their work. He will share how ArcGIS supports this transformation with easy-to-use applications. Mike and Eric will demonstrate how these applications enable organizations to streamline work, access data, and optimize field workflows. Keep an eye out for some new capabilities. There's a couple in there that I haven't seen yet. Pat, I'm going to go ahead and pass it to you. Let's get started.
Thanks, Krista. All right, let's jump right in. Field workers are a very important and hardworking group. Now, these industries are different, but they have much in common. They all provide vital services with infrastructure over large service territories. And field operations plays a big part in these services, often making up 50% of the workforce or even more. Craft workers choose field work oftentimes because they like to work with their hands, not computers, and they're not fond of paperwork. They might complain that getting the results of their inspections into the system is a real pain. And digital workflows can help that. In fact, many organizations have goals to incorporate more digital mobile capability, but that transformation has been slow in many cases. Today, COVID-19 is affecting everyone, including field, and it's changing how we do seemingly almost everything. Even circulating paperwork now creates serious social contact issues. Here's what some of the experts are saying. For example, Forbes said communication service providers will likely accelerate their digital transformation, institutionalizing new ways of working for their employees. Organizations are looking for new ways of working. Just look at how many people started working from home seemingly overnight. Today, we're going to look at opportunities to innovate that apply to all of these industries. These are the elements of typical field workflows. Location is the one thing that ties it together. Jobs, crews, equipment, they all have location in common. Because it's central to everything that happens in the field, it's important to understand how location impacts operations. On the left side, superintendents or managers, they use location to plan work effectively. They also coordinate in real time as things change throughout the day or the week. They monitor progress to ensure safety and to make sure that they will reach their goals. On the right side, crews need to navigate to their work sites. They must also understand what is around them, their own network, and the environment in which they're working. As they do their work, they capture new information. The field workers that I worked with wanted intuitive tools that fit their working style, not a mobile version of what engineering uses. Esri has a complete set of mobile tools designed for field work. They have specific functions and they work together in harmony. We'll use apps today to organize and assign work and also capture inspection results. Others help you understand your surroundings, navigate, even track workers' locations for safety. The apps all work together. They're designed for convenience. And these apps reach out across the web and put the right information into the right hands at the right time. Today's time will focus on 3 areas. Inspection and maintenance programs drive a lot of field activity. First, understanding the workload. Regulatory requirements drive inspection, maintenance, and documentation with penalties for noncompliance. Second, streamlining the work, making it easier for the worker, cutting out paperwork and saving time. Finally, we'll examine ways to use the data captured to maintain awareness of what's happening, track where we are in terms of meeting inspection targets, and then use that insight to optimize our planning and scheduling. When field processes are digital, all staff see the same data at the same time with no delay. The crew has the same information that engineering, customer service, and dispatch are working from. What happens in the field becomes immediately available to the rest of the organization. And when data is shared in that way, ArcGIS becomes a platform for a common understanding throughout the company. Effective work planning and scheduling comes from understanding location. Inspecting work often comes from the organization's asset management practice, and there's a lot of variation in how agencies and systems handle this. But ArcGIS can add value regardless of your system. I've seen large database systems make work assignments that were not very functional in the field. Why? Because these systems were not aware of location. ArcGIS brings what I like to call location technology to work planning and assignment. Mike is going to show us how work from any source can be prioritized using location technology. Mike, how can we get a better handle on the workload?
Thanks, Pat. It depends on how the work at your utility is managed. Are you using an enterprise asset management system or someone managing a spreadsheet like the one I'm showing? So this spreadsheet contains work that needs to be completed in the upcoming weeks. It's got XY coordinates of our gas meter assets. It's been given an assignment type of gas meter inspection. It's been assigned a worker, a priority, and a due date. And these attributes will factor heavily when picking the schedule date. We've also got the asset ID and the corresponding work order number. Tabular data will help understand the scope of work, but it's missing the spatial component. The data contains attributes such as XY coordinates or street address. We can easily drag and drop a spreadsheet into a map and begin seeing their locations. As Pat mentioned earlier, understanding how location impacts operations is very important. So let's drag this spreadsheet into a map. And just like that, I can see the full extent of those gas meter inspections. So we're going to symbolize this based off location. And if I zoom in a little bit, I can see those gas meter inspections on top of our gas facilities. Now, I want to take a more closer look at the data using symbolization based on those attributes that we just loaded from the spreadsheet. So here on Fox Avenue, I see a lot of gas meter inspections that are going to be done on this street. If I want to visualize it by priority, I can see that I got a combination of low and mediums. If I want to visualize it by field crew, I see that I've got multiple field crews assigned to the same street. And if I visualize it by due date, I see that I've got about a 3-week window to get all these inspections completed. Now, sending multiple crews to the same street on multiple days is an inefficient use of resources. We'll want to update the assignments. Let's see how to do that. Workforce for ArcGIS is a lightweight job management web app where jobs are assigned to field workers. On the right-hand side, I see a map of all the jobs in the system. On the left-hand side, I see a tabular list of all those jobs along with more information about them. At the bottom, I can see the workers who are currently working and not, and how many jobs they're assigned to. With my list of assignments, I can also sort it by status or assignment type, and I can also filter based off employee, priority, due date, and status. So over here on the right, we've got Fox Avenue, and we want to assign all of these jobs to one field crew. So using the mass attribute tool, we're going to select them and change the assignment to the working employee. Now, if you're using an enterprise asset management system, updated job information can be sent to that system through a batch interface. What I'll show in the second demo, as these jobs are updated, the field crews will get alerted of new and updated assignments in their workforce for ArcGIS mobile app. Hey Pat, how would this impact a superintendent's work on a daily basis?
Sure, Mike. A superintendent or manager needs to organize assignments and plan ahead. Seeing the work by location helps them do that more effectively. And that's the kind of planning that's really needed to help ensure that your regulatory targets are met. Efficient field inspections then depend on smooth workflows, convenient data gathering, and easily capturing follow-up work. Once work is organized and assigned, we're ready to do the work of inspecting equipment. Our demonstration will switch from the office view to the field. And the apps that Mike is going to show next run easily on mobile devices to make field work more convenient. By capturing the results at the work site, errors are reduced and delays are virtually eliminated. About 2 weeks ago, a technician came to the door at my home and she needed to make a safety inspection of my gas meter. Mike is going to walk us through a similar gas meter inspection as an example of how ArcGIS can simplify inspections on any equipment, whether it's simple or complex. When assets are inspected, we often find things that are broken or leaking or need follow-up, additional work to be reported. So watch for this. ArcGIS makes quick work of handling this with minimal disruption to the work at hand. Mike, show us, what does this look like in the field?
Thanks, Pat. Utilities, water, and telecoms all inspect many assets in the field: poles, valves, pedestals, and meters, to name a few. I want to look at a periodic gas meter inspection. However, this functionality isn't limited to just gas meters. So I'm now a field worker in my vehicle with an iPad. I'm in Workforce for ArcGIS, the mobile app, and I see that I've got 57 assignments in my queue. I can sort them based off of assignment type or priority, or these other criteria shown on the screen. And on the right-hand side, I see a map of where all these gas meter inspections are located at. So we're going to zoom in. We're going to pick the one on the north side of Fox Ave, and we're going to get some additional information about that. I can see its address, some notes that we got from the office that this is due at the end of the shift, and it's part of work order 5151. So before I get started, I'm going to hit the start button down here. This will let the superintendent know which jobs are in progress and location of this field crew. Next, I'm going to click on the selection option, and I've got two choices. I can navigate to the assignment, or I can begin the actual inspection. So let's begin inspecting. Survey 123 for ArcGIS is a smart form data collection app. This survey was originally paper-based, but is now digital. Data is captured electronically and can be submitted from the field. No more manual handoffs are needed. Notice how the address and the work order ID have been pre-populated, along with the date and time that the survey was actually started at. This eliminates the field worker from having to enter in this information. At the bottom of the first page, we got some questions regarding the meter. So we're going to fill those out and move on to the next page. So I'm prompted to capture some photos. So using my camera in my iPad, I'm going to take a photo from my second story apartment. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, at the top of the page here, we've got a selectable image map of components of this gas meter that we can select. This makes it easy to identify what we're going to be inspecting. We've got a regulator, a valve, and a meter. So this is valuable for new staff or contractors who aren't used to your org's terminology. But remember, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So based on what we pick, we're going to show questions on the next page about that. We've selected the regulator, and we've got a bunch of questions that we now need to fill out to complete this regulator inspection. I go back and pick the valve. I now have additional questions to fill out regarding that valve. And if I just wanted to inspect the meter, I can unselect these other two options, pick the meter. Now I can just answer questions regarding the meter. Now, the first question on the meter has a red asterisk, meaning that this is required. And based on its answer, it's going to ask me additional questions. So that conditional logic is built in to survey 123. So status of the meter, if I say that it's very poor, it's going to ask me for some comments, whereas if I say it's good, no additional questions are asked. So we're going to fill out the rest of this and continue on. Now, for auditing purposes, I'll provide my signature and mark how long this inspection took. All right, knowing the average time to complete an inspection will help our future resource planning activities. All right, so now prior to submitting this inspection, I noticed a large amount of water flowing down the street. This could be a water main issue. Being proactive, let's notify our operations manager that an issue potentially exists. So ArcGIS Quick Capture is a mobile app to quickly capture data. Click a big button that specifies the condition and take a picture. It's as simple as that. So on here, we've got red buttons indicating critical issues for a main break or a pipe damage. We also got some lesser critical stuff like pole leaning with a green background. So we saw water flowing down the street, so we're going to click on main break. And once again, we'll take a photo from my second-story apartment, capture that, and now we hit the send button, and that data is being sent back to the office, and a operations manager will be notified along the way. All right, so we're now back at our survey, and we want to send this information back to the office. We're going to hit the send button, and just like that, it's sent electronically back to the office. No coffee spills, no illegible handwriting, no double entry, and no lost documents. Okay, so we've now gone back to Workforce, and I can mark this job as finished. And I can notice on the map, the symbol changed from gray to green, indicating that it's done. I'm now free to move on to my next inspection. Hey, Pat, how excited are you about a paperless workflow?
Mike, to me, I think it is revolutionary. I really appreciate how the apps work together because, as I've said, field workers need apps that make their work better. And when you receive and complete assignments that easily and input your inspections right on the same device, that's perfect. And Quick Capture, I'm just thinking, would be great for patrols, street lights, or even hanging out of a helicopter to mark things. That's so easy and fast. Great, thank you. Effective field operations require understanding how work is progressing and the resources needed to meet your targets. So let's continue the story by seeing how results of inspection work can be used. We'll track the progress of work that is occurring and help ensure that the timelines are met. Then we're going to see how data from the field can be visualized and analyzed without a lot of special training. I hope you enjoyed today's hands-on activity. You did a lot of inspections. We wanted to give you a chance to use our tools and see how well they work. So Eric, how can we use the data that's coming back from the field?
Great question, Pat. Let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the data that everyone submitted prior to our webinar. So what exactly does that office inspection and dashboard have to do with field operations anyways? Well, many utility field crews are already using this same technology every day to improve their workflows. In fact, that survey you filled out about your office uses the same technology that Mike just demonstrated when he completed that gas meter survey. These apps, when combined, allow you to collect, visualize, and better understand your asset data instead of just hiding it away somewhere, making it difficult to find and unusable. So how can we utilize this specifically within field operations? To continue that story that Mike was previously telling, when he submitted that quick capture survey about a water main break, that triggered what we call a webhook. That webhook recognized that this submission was an urgent matter and automatically sent me an email and has provided some information about that leak, including the image that he took. From here, as an operations manager, I can easily access my own dashboard about current assignments by clicking on the link provided within the email. With this dashboard, I'm given an overview of all the assignments across my utility. I have an interactive map that shows me where they are within my service territory. And on the right-hand side, I have a number of elements providing me with an overview of the total number of assignments, as well as the number of tasks that are currently unassigned, assigned, and in progress. Along the bottom, I also have a number of bar graphs telling me about my assignments, broken out by priority, such as high, medium, and low, the different assignment types, as well as the assignment status. Within this dashboard, I've also embedded that same ArcGIS workforce task management system that Mike had showed earlier. This dashboard gives me access to an overview of my assignment information, but it also gives me the ability to immediately assign tasks as necessary without having to switch between apps. This is especially critical for those tasks such as a water main break, gas leak, downed power line, or other work that you might have at your respective utilities. Now within Workforce, I can see that most recent assignment that Mike created about the water main break, and I can select it. It'll take me to that location on the map, and I'll be able to assign it to a worker that's going to be able to fix it. In this case, I'll assign it to Matt. And if you look at the graph just below my screen here at the bottom, you'll see the number of unassigned tasks will drop by 1, and the number of assigned tasks will increase by 1, indicating that this task has been assigned. Other elements in the dashboard tied to my assignments will update as well in near real time, giving me an up-to-date overview of my entire system. So this was one example of how we can use a dashboard to better understand assignments that are coming in from the field, especially those that are urgent, as well as maybe those that aren't necessarily a high priority. Here, I can see another type of dashboard that's a common practice at many different utilities to help monitor the progress of inspection campaigns that might have to take place annually, quarterly, or at some other time interval. Again, I have my map as the central feature, and it's surrounded by those elements to help me understand how close we are to meeting this particular goal. I can see we've inspected about 4,700 meters and we're aiming for 10,000, or I can understand some of those metrics that are coming in from the field based on the survey that Mike showed. In this case, the average amount of time it takes to inspect a gas meter was calculated, but it could just as easily be an electrical transformer, fire hydrant, or any other asset that you might have to inspect. Along the bottom, I can monitor daily progress to see the number of inspections per day if I want to understand those trends as well. Lastly, I can see the most recent inspections that have come in from the field. So these dashboards and the way in which we integrate them with other applications improves communications and the exchange of information between the office and the field as situations change or unfold. However, we recognize that not all the work you do at a utility falls into this day-to-day tasks category. You also have long-term projects to contend with, and the ArcGIS platform can help with this planning as well. For helping us find or better understand those long-term projects, we have another application that helps us to ingest the data you've collected to discover trends. This application is ArcGIS Insights. In short, ArcGIS Insights is an analytical tool that can be used by both the GIS and non-GIS professionals to help us quickly push through large amounts of data to discover trends and patterns. On my screen, I have a number of interactive cards of my main and main break data. If I click on this cast iron main type, I can see that the other cards will adjust to show only cast iron mains, and I can see when these cast iron mains were installed in the bar graph below. But let's focus on the map for a second. It's showing a heat map of where I have a high concentration of main breaks. In this case, I've taken that data that's been collected daily over the course of a year or several years from field crews like Mike's, and now I want to do an analysis on that data to better understand where these leaks are occurring and start to guide some of my utilities' bigger or long-term projects. Through a spatial analysis and insights, I can quickly locate any mains that have had at least one break. If I click on the map, I can see that I'm given an actions button, and an action is just another way of saying I want to perform an analysis. By default, it shows a number of analysis tools that are available to me. But what if I'm not a GIS professional? Then these tools don't necessarily mean much to me. But if I click on the Find Answers button, I can see that it shows me a number of prompts to guide me to the right tool so that I can perform an analysis. I want to find breaks that are nearby mains. So I can choose what's nearby and see the different tools that are now available to me. So I'll click on the Find Nearest tool. Again, I want to find main segments that are closest to each of my breaks, at which point I can run the tool. In the interest of time though, I've already performed this analysis and added the results to the map that you can see here. Now, for each segment of main with a leak, I know the information about the material, diameter, install date, and number of leaks. But let's take a deeper dive into understanding the mains that have had these breaks over the years. By easy dragging and dropping, I can create graphics like what we saw on the previous page. If I select material, I can drag and drop this to create a bar chart to see the different type of main materials that have had leaks. I can do the same thing with diameter and create a bubble chart of the different diameters that have had breaks over time. And lastly, I'll grab the year value. And with this, I'll be able to create a column bar chart of a time series that's going to show me the number of leaks per main install year. What stands out to me immediately is the number of breaks occurring on newer mains. It makes sense that older mains from the early 1900s might be leaking given their age, but why are these mains from 2002 or 2003 starting to break? If I click on the 2002 or 2003 bar, I'm going to be able to see that my other cards are going to update. And what I can see on the map is that most of these breaks are taking place in downtown Naperville. And I can also see on materials and diameters on which they're occurring. So it appears to me quickly that it's ductile iron pipes that are 8 and 12 inches in diameter that appear to be the culprit. Maybe this can help me start to understand where I have a bad batch of pipe. Or maybe ductile iron pipes that are 8 and 12 inches in diameter installed in 2002 should be replaced as a proactive measure. What if you also recorded information about the contractors installing these mains? Maybe a trend could be found there as well. Regardless of the analysis, ArcGIS Insights is an excellent exploratory tool that allows you to take that data that's being collected and accumulated every day from your tasks or assignments and lets you understand trends to drive future decision-making processes. Over the last few minutes, we looked at how data coming in from the field can be visualized, organized, and acted upon through webhooks, dashboards, workforce, and insights. Maybe you just want to understand the progress of a project. A dashboard can help with this. Sometimes you may want to manage high priority challenges. Webhooks can inform you, a dashboard can show you, and workforce helps you to react. Other times, you may need to step away from those day-to-day work plans and focus on the more strategic projects. Insights can help you turn that daily data into a long-term plan. Regardless of the work that needs to be done, the ArcGIS platform has the apps that you need to share and understand data quickly and efficiently. So Pat, think you're ready to do your own GIS analyses now?
That was great, Eric. Thank you. And yes, I did recently use Insights to look at some outage data from Texas. You know, I love the find answers because that's the kind of thing that could easily be done by an analyst in most field organizations. And I really appreciated how you applied the data coming back in from the field to monitor progress and see how work was trending. Let's summarize. When it comes to understanding workload, using location technology is vital. To streamline work, field workers need apps that make their work experience better. And with smooth workflows and the same live data in the field and the office, monitoring status becomes straightforward. Krista, can you tell us about what's coming up?
Absolutely, Pat. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so our next webinar in the series is next Thursday, May 21st. Please join us to learn how ArcGIS helps you to optimize capital work. We don't have time for questions. Boy, this 30 minutes goes fast, but we will answer whatever was submitted. Look for our Q&A document on GeoNet. It will also be shared via email at the end of the webinar series. Thanks for joining today's webinar. Stay connected with us on social media to continue the conversation. We hope to see you next week.